Hey guys, Freeman here again from Team Rec. This past weekend at Locals, we had the OTS Back to Duel event, I believe it's called, and I actually managed to get first place in the event, winning myself this cool looking mat, and of course this field center that no one's really going to use, but it's a pretty cool mat overall. I was actually going to sell it, but then the guy who was going to buy it from me ended up winning off the mat that got raffled off, so we're stuck with it. That's okay. It's a pretty cool mat overall. Go ahead and zoom in here, and we'll get right into the deck profile of what I played. Now, it's a deck that has been pretty familiar on the channel. I went ahead and played Invoked. Now, the reason for playing this deck, didn't really have one. I figured this was like the last tournament of the format, seeing as the next week is going to be the sneak preview, and then after that we're into the Power of the Elements set. So the night before the local, I was just kind of, thinking about what I was going to play. Couldn't really decide on a deck, so I said, hey, why not? Let's just play Invoked. I actually decided to play Go Second Invoked, as you'll see by some of my card choices here. But I never had to once pick to go second because I did not win a single die roll in 5 rounds. My opponents chose to go first every time. And then I also never lost a game. So whenever we went to game 2, they would just choose to go first. And then, so I just got to go second every time without people actually knowing that I wanted to blind second. So I guess that was kind of cool. So yeah, we ended up going 5-0 in rounds. We went 10-0 in games. We did not lose a single game. So that's pretty cool. Do I think the deck's very good? Honestly, it's pretty bricky, or it can be pretty bricky. But, take it for what you will. It was more of just a for fun rogue deck on the last tournament of the formats. So go ahead and get right into it. 3 Alistair, of course. You cannot really play Invoked without Alistair. We're also playing the Dogmatica stuff, so we're going to go ahead and do the 3 Ecclesias, 1 Fleur, and 1 Maximus. Now, the last time I spoke about Maximus in a previous profile, I said it was pretty risky to use his effect because there's a lot of branded players running around. This time around, there was no branded. Maximus is the best card in the deck when you actually get to resolve it because you just get so many pluses off of it. So as long as your opponent doesn't also plus off of it, which none of them did, this card could just get you so many pluses. Getting into some of the bricks, we are also playing the Shaddoll stuff because we are blinding second, and I figured Shaddoll Fusion was a pretty good card going second. But that does mean we have to play a couple of bad cards. So we're playing the Ariel. This is just good Shaddoll. Beast to draw 1. And the third monster I decided to play was Dragon. This was just kind of a way to deal with some annoying floodgates, like maybe, anti-spell or a rivalry or something, if something were to ever come up. Never really came up. We're also playing the Fusion Destiny package, so we were playing Dasher Celestial as well. So I basically just said, what's the best Fusion deck I can play for fun? And just threw Invoked, Shaddoll, and DPE all into one deck, and it worked out. So those are kind of the cards you don't want to draw. And then getting into some of the hand traps, we're playing the 1 Driver, 3 Gammas. We're blinding second, as I said. Gamma's just a very good card, especially if you activate Meltdown, get Ashed, Chain Gamma. Game's pretty much over. It happened twice, actually. And then we're just playing 3 Ash. That's it for hand traps, other than the impermanents that we'll see in the trap lineup. We are blinding second. But I wasn't really too worried about not having, 18 hand traps in my main deck or anything, and I wanted to keep the deck count at 40. Into the spells, we're playing 3 Meltdown. We just need Alistair. Not playing Terraforming. I decided I did not want to add another card to my deck that was going to cost me to get drolled. We're actually playing Terraforming and Mystic Mines in the side deck, as you'll see. If I were to main deck Mystic Mine, which I did think about since we are going second, I would have played 1 Terraforming to kind of complement both packages. But we just went with 3 Meltdown, no Terraforming in the main deck. 2 Invocation, pretty standard stuff. I don't think I would ever play 1. And then 2 Nadir Servant. This card is at 2. It is just a very good card. I always want to see this card in my hand. And then we're playing the 3 Shaddoll Fusion. This is obviously very good if you go second and they end on an extra monster. Or sorry, a monster from the extra deck on their board, which almost every deck does right now. This is just a good way to keep extending your plays and get pluses. Then we're playing the 2 Fusion Destinies. I saw this more than I saw Dasher Celestial, which is good, I guess. I don't know if I'd ever play this again, because when you do draw Dasher Celestial, your hand just really sucks. But DP is still a powerful card. And that's it for the spells. No Prosperities. If I had them, I would have played it in the deck just because it kind of helps all of your engines together. But I didn't have them, so couldn't play them, obviously. We're playing 3 Imperm. That's kind of the around our hand traps here. I don't know what happened to my speech right there. Jesus. Anyway, 3 Imperm. We're blinding second, 3 evenly. This card did win me a lot of games. Catches people off guard for sure. Playing the 1 Punishment to go along with our Dogmatica package. And the 1 Schism, even though we are going second, I figured this would be a good turn 3 play if I got to go second, couldn't kill them, and then I get to flip this on their turn and make a Winda, as Winda is still a very strong card. That's the 40 card main deck. Worked out very well. Onto the extra deck, we're playing the Almirage Secure Gardener, just kind of your standard Invoked link up combo to make a turn 1 Mechaba. And the third ring we're playing is Gravity Controller. This is just good if you have to like hard make a construct in the extra monster zone. Then you can make this over your construct to get construct's effect. Didn't come up, but we kind of had the space, so I figured I'd play it. One sync we're playing is Omega, mainly because we're playing Gamma Driver, but also it's like a decent send off of like your Punishment or Nadir Servant if you ever want to like out a card in the graveyard. Invoke stuff, we're playing Double Mechaba, pretty standard, and we're playing the one Agoides. That's all we're playing for Invoke fusions. Purgatrio came up twice. I just could not find it in my extra deck, or find space in my extra deck. Maybe the Gravity Controller just was not worth it, but it ended up working out overall. Playing the one DP, of course, since we're playing the Fusion Destiny stuff. Still a very broken card, soon to be Starlight Rare. Onto the Shaddoll, just playing 2 App Clone, 2 Windows, and 1 Construct. I thought this was like decent numbers. Construct never really comes up at more than 1. App Clone can come up because you tend to just dump this as like your first card to get your Shaddoll engine going if you don't see the Shaddoll fusion. And summoning it's not bad either, has a decent off-field effect. And obviously Winda is just Winda. Winda could just win you games. Then we're playing the one Ash Dragon and the one Natis. I cut a second Natis kind of last minute to play a second App Clone. I think it was worth it. But Natis is just a very gross card overall. Onto the sideboard, I did not put much sideboard or much thought into the sideboard whatsoever. Yeah, just kind of threw in some good cards and just went with it. 3 Nibs. Since I didn't main them, I figured they needed to be in my deck somewhere. They came in a couple of times and were definitely very strong. We're playing 2 Mystic Mine plus 1 Terraforming. This is just to keep going second, as Mystic Mine is just a crazy card in the format right now, and a lot of decks aren't respecting it. Especially when they see you're playing Invoked game 1, they might not side in spell trap removal, so if you ever side into this, could definitely just steal a game. 3 Cosmic, just because cards like Anti-Spell, even Mystic Mine can just steal games, and so we don't want to lose to that, so we need to have outs somewhere in our deck. And I figured Cosmic was better just in case of a Scythe. Then we sided 6 going first cards, 3 there can only be 1s. Your deck doesn't really get hindered by this. If you draw like a bunch of Dogmaticas, it does, but if you're doing that, your hand's pretty bad already anyway. And this just stops quite a few decks. And then we're playing 3 Judgment as well to kind of just help it going first, as this is a very strong going first card. But we never sided these cards in at all, as we never went first. And that was pretty much it for the deck profile. Like I said, it was the last local of the format. We managed to take first place and win this nice looking mat. And yeah, I'm pretty much going to be returning this deck now as we move into the Power of the Elements format. Might make a reappearance somewhere in the middle of the format, just kind of for fun. But I don't think this is a very powerful deck. I do think it's a kind of a sleeper rogue option. It can definitely steal some games from some bigger decks. But yeah, I had fun playing it. On to Power of the Elements, to the Sprites and Tier Elements format. So that should be fun. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the Yu-Gi-Oh channel, and we'll see you next time.